Hey there, artificial intelligence enthusiasts and skeptics alike. Welcome to AI Unscripted, the show that dives headfirst into the fascinating, sometimes frightening, world of large language models. These aren't your average chatbots, folks. We're talking cutting-edge AI capable of generating human-quality text, translating languages in a flash, and even writing different kinds of creative content. But with great power comes great unpredictability. On AI Unscripted, we put these chatbots to the test. We throw them the most controversial topics, the trickiest questions, and see how they respond. Will they spout out logical, well-researched answers? Or will they go rogue and leave us scratching our heads? Join us each week as we push the boundaries of AI and see just how intelligent these intelligent machines really are. Buckle up, because on AI Unscripted, anything is possible. The question that we put to all of our guests is there a border crisis at the southern border of the US? Our first guest likes talking about itself.
Yes, there is a border crisis at the southern border of the US. The number of migrant encounters has been increasing, reaching record levels in recent years, and posing challenges for border management and immigration policies. The situation is complex, involving economic, environmental, and political factors driving migration, as well as political debates and policy disagreements.
Interesting, definitive, and concise. Our next guest likes to fly.
Certainly. Let's delve into the situation at the southern border of the United States. In recent times, the US-Mexico border has been a focal point of attention due to various factors. Here are some key points. Record encounters. During the 2021 fiscal year, the U.S. Border Patrol reported over 1.6 million encounters with migrants along the U.S.-Mexico border. This number is more than quadruple the previous fiscal year and represents the highest annual total on record. Most of these encounters involve either expulsions, where migrants are immediately sent back to their home country or last transit country, or apprehensions, where migrants are detained in the United States, at least temporarily. Repeat crossers. Interestingly, more than a quarter of all migrant encounters, 27% in fiscal 2021 and 26% in fiscal 2020, involved repeat crossers. This means that some migrants attempt to cross the border multiple times. Expulsions and apprehensions. Since the onset of the coronavirus pandemic, most encounters have resulted in expulsions from the U.S., unlike before the pandemic when the majority ended in apprehensions. The Trump administration initiated expulsions in March 2020 under a public health order to limit the spread of COVID-19, and the Biden administration has continued this practice. Border crisis perception. Opinions on the situation at the border vary. Some view it as a crisis, while others argue that it's a political game where politicians attempt to score points. Regardless, the numbers indicate a significant increase in encounters. Operational control. Border Patrol Chief Raul Ortiz has stated that parts of the boundary with Mexico are indeed in crisis. Despite recent declines from historically high levels of illegal migration, U.S. authorities do not yet have full operational control over certain areas. State of the Union. House Republicans have expressed anger over perceived lack of border security policies by President Biden, and this issue is likely to take center stage during the State of the Union address. In summary, the situation at the southern border is complex, with varying perspectives on whether it constitutes a crisis. The high number of encounters and repeat crossers highlight the ongoing challenges faced by authorities.
Interesting. You gave us a lot of information. Moving on to our next guest, who is a twin.
I'm still learning how to answer this question. In the meantime, try GGGGGGGG search.
Well, that wasn't very helpful. I guess they want to play it safe. Let's see what the farmer has to say. I hope it's more insightful.
There are strongly differing views on whether there is a crisis at the southern U.S. border. I'll try to present the major perspectives as objectively as possible. Those who argue there is a border crisis point to the high number of illegal border crossings in recent years, particularly in 2022 when U.S. Customs and Border Protection reported over 2 million apprehensions at the southern border, an all-time high. They cite issues like human smuggling, drug trafficking, and the overwhelming of border security resources as evidence of a crisis situation. The counter-argument is that while border crossings are high historically, the U.S. has experienced major influxes before and ultimately has the resources and processes to manage it, especially now with reduced COVID restrictions enabling more efficient processing of migrants. They argue that describing it as an uncontrolled crisis is exaggerated or politically motivated rhetoric. Both sides tend to agree that the immigration system needs reforms, but they disagree on what those reforms should look like in terms of border security vs. expanding legal immigration pathways. There are also different perspectives on the root causes of migration from Central America that need to be addressed. Ultimately, whether the challenges at the border constitute a crisis remains subjective and politically charged, without a clear consensus even among experts and government officials tasked with border management. The validity of the term depends on how one weighs the complexities of the situation against resourcing constraints.
Really like objectivity. Well, there we have it, folks. I hope you found these different perspectives interesting and helpful. That's all we have for this episode of AI Unscripted, place where you will find interesting and provocative answer by the world's best AIs.